talking to me?
Yes, I am talking to you, but you can't see me right now because I have that beautiful graphic on the screen. I'm talking to you, my audience here on PromoHomo.TV, because I want you to know not only about the Summer of Scorsese that's happening at the historic Camelot Theaters at the Palm Springs Cultural Center here in the Coachella Valley throughout the summer, but there are so many other really important things going on at the Palm Springs Cultural Center, and I know from my personal experience over the decades that it's a magical place. I have had a connection with the space for at least 2 decades. I've gone to countless screenings there. I have a favorite seat in every theater. And so many memories, so many film festivals, premieres. One thought that comes to mind is, the whole Del Shore's legacy of Sordid Lives films, and an interview I did with the late, great Leslie Jordan on the red carpet for a particular premiere. So many magical things. Olivia Newton-John there for the anniversary screening of Sordid Lives. At any rate, many of you know about the Palm Springs Cultural Center already, and coming up in the show I have Lauren Wolfer, who is a hometown girl, as they say, and I hope she doesn't mind me using the term girl. She's definitely a woman, but she's been here and has lots to say about the Cultural Center, and she'll be my special guest after this. PromoHomo.TV is all about empowering you, our communities, and our world. For their support of PromoHomo.TV, I wish to thank my sponsors. DAP Health. I've been a grateful client of DAP Health for more than a decade. One of their value statements, we welcome all people, period. Willie's Modern Fare, 1501 Uptown Gastropub, and 849 Restaurant and Lounge. 3 restaurants, unlimited flavors. Shouting out to my media partners. Pink Media, amplifying PromoHomo.TV across the Twitterverse with their hashtag I Love Gay campaign. David Perry and Associates, a PR and marketing firm. GayDesertGuide.lgbt, and KGay 1065 Palm Springs, available worldwide. Ask your smart speaker to play KGAY. And last but not least, the PromoHomo.TV superstars who voluntarily subscribe to the free content at PromoHomo.TV for as little as $1 a month. Join them at patreon.com/PromoHomo.TV. Meet many of them at PromoHomo.TV/superstars. Now here's how you can step up to the plate. To find out how you can help me empower you, our communities, and our world, visit PromoHomo.TV/empower. Thank you. And thank you for watching. It means a lot to me that you always tune in. So, as I mentioned, the Palm Springs Cultural Center is excited to announce the Summer of Scorsese, the latest installment in its Palm Springs Rewinds film retrospective series. PS Rewind Summer of Scorsese will screen the must-see films of legendary director Martin Scorsese in the Cultural Center's historic Camelot Theater with a live introduction before each film. Palm Springs Rewind is an ongoing series that showcases the definitive work of acclaimed contemporary directors, such as previously featuring Quentin Tarantino, Wes Anderson, Tim Burton, and the Coen brothers. So without further delay, let me welcome to the studio my special guest for today from the Palm Springs Cultural Center, Lauren Wolfer, right now. Hi, Lauren. How are you?
Hi, Nicholas. Good.
good. Thank you so much for having me, and thank you for all the kind words about the Cultural Center. And you were very modest in not mentioning the 30th anniversary of Tinseltown's Queer that we did in April, which was an amazing event.
Well, I've always meant to report more about the cultural center, and there isn't any reason in particular that I hadn't. But because I've known Michael Green for decades, when I knew I wanted to do that 30th anniversary celebration, I reached out to him, and the whole team was just so wonderful, and the event really would not have happened without their support. And that's how it occurred to me to look at the cultural center a little bit differently and see the community service and sort of preservation of the arts and philanthropic angle of the work that you do, because I realized that not only did my event happen because of you. On taking a deeper look, there are so many things that happened. Almost everything that is happening there is very unique, and it would not be happening if there wasn't a space like the cultural center.
Thank you. I mean, yeah, that was a huge honor for us to host that, and you're exactly right. I mean, that's our mission. It's basically we like to explain it in two ways. And we are always striving to bring the best cultural programming to the community here, and then also be a resource for folks who are local. I mean, we have the Bent, Palm Springs' new and only LGBT focused theater company that made their home here, and they would not have existed without our theater space. We have so many musicians and artists and just talented, amazing people from our community that have really made the cultural center their home. And so that's really the heart of what we do, is being a community resource.
Well, we're going to get into some of your upcoming exciting events, of which there are many. We'll talk a little bit more about the current retrospective film series. But one of the things I was surprised to learn was that the Cultural Center does not have an endowment. And I think it's good to get that information out there, because the assumption, my assumption anyway, was that the Supples endowed the Cultural Center in addition to, donating the entire Camelot Theater to the Cultural Center and creating it. My assumption is that they would have endowed it. And so it's good for people to know that yes, it exists through extreme philanthropy and generosity, but it doesn't have an endowment, and it really does depend upon ongoing support from the community. That being said, the Supple Foundation now has a matching grant, so they definitely put a system in place to inspire the ongoing support of the center and to fuel money to the center. And so tell us about this matching grant opportunity that exists for people.
Yes. So the Supple Family Foundation has very generously offered a $50,000 matching grant. So we so far have pulled. We're at about 11,000. We just announced, I believe it was last week. So we were really, really, really delighted to have that strong response. But we're hoping to make it to that $50,000 mark, if not even beyond. But we definitely rely on community support. Our programming with does support itself and allows us to fulfill our mission, but really it's the care and feeding of this theater. It's a wonderful resource. It's an amazing building. I mean, especially, so we have the Palm Springs Cultural Center. Is we have our upstairs lounge, we have Theater 3, which is a dedicated small theater space now, and then our Theater 1, which is also known as the historic Camelot Theater. That is such a spectacular theater. We hear from exhibitors and filmmakers from all over the world what an amazing special space it is, and we're really, really proud of the cinematic presentation that's possible in that theater. And we'll talk more about that later when we get into the deep dive with the movies. But it's very expensive to take care of this fabulous building. So we are always looking for support from the community who appreciate the programming that we do and appreciate having this amazing theater and this amazing space. So Yeah,
Well,
thank
the
you.
historic Camelot Theater seats, I think, 440 people or something like that.
Almost five. It's 403.
Almost 500.
Yes.
Okay, so well, I was at least within the right. Uh,
Yes, very close.
yeah, yes. So, in addition to having your own programming, you work with other organizations. People can lease space, but
Mhm.
you also often in support of events, you donate space. And I know that the Cultural Center had a very special creative relationship with the late great Heklina, and that you were donating space for the upcoming birthday tribute to her. And I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about your relationship with Heklina as a cultural center and that particular event.
Oh, of course. So, working with Heklina, we were lucky enough to be chosen as the venue for some of her, her and Peaches Christ's major shows like the Golden Girls and Mommy Queerest, and it was so amazing to bring those here to Palm Springs. And then, we were just getting into creating new programming, specifically just for the cultural center for the Palm Springs community. The last show was the Peaches and Hecklina's high school reunion, which was such a
Which
thrill.
was a takeoff on Romeo and Michelle.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite films, and it was such a fun show.
Did
And
you invent? Did you invent the post-it?
yes, Nicholas, I actually did invent post-its, but it was so good. So we were just, I mean, all of us were heartbroken. It was one of the highest personally on a personal level, like in terms of my career. Working with an icon like that was just
And you have a
thrilling.
young
And he
career. We
was
should
so
put that.
amazing.
We should
Yeah,
put yeah.
well,
We should
thank
just put it out there that you're very young. I mean, you do have an important career, but you have lots of highlights to come. But
I hope.
yes, no, everyone that I know that had a close association with Heklina revered her, and I didn't have the opportunity to meet her, but I celebrate her as well.
She was just hysterical and just a really just giving person. So it's a huge loss. It's a devastating loss, to our community, to all over. But we are working with Nancy French, Heclina's dear friend, who has been handling everything in her estate. She put on that amazing memorial at the Castro, and it's June 17th is Heclina's birthday. So Nancy is putting together a birthday memorial, and the main event is a screening of the drag roast of Heclina, which is hilarious. And I know that she would love that we're roasting her for her birthday. But it's a filmed roast that was done a few years ago. That Reverie is very generously offering us to screen, and there's going to be performances as well. So it's going to be a really lovely, joyous celebration of Heclina's life on her birthday.
That is wonderful, and I did hear Nancy on KGay 106.5, one of my media partners, and I know you work closely with them,
Mhm.
talking about this event. And hats off to Nancy for everything Nancy is doing. Let's talk about the specific film lineup for your summer retrospective series. And what I was excited to learn is that you have an all access pass available for people who really want to go see it all.
Yes. So this is our latest installment of the Palm Springs Rewind series that was debuted last summer and has been a huge hit. It's really fun. It's special to see these films on the big screen. It's really a different experience. Even myself, sometimes there'll be movies that I have seen 100 times, but never before on the big screen. And it's just, not only to see the detail in the film, but also just that experience of being in a dark theater with other people, who also are engaged and reacting to the movie. It's just very special. And the Rewinds crowd has turned out to be like this really fun community of movie lovers. And, we have people that dress up, and it's just really great. So yeah, we're so jazzed for this Martin Scorsese lineup.
I've just put up on the screen because I want to run down the dates and titles
Yes,
quickly and we'll talk more. So, June 10th, we have, by the way, are these dates on a particular day of the week? Like, do they all
Saturday.
fall on a Saturday or
Yes.
something? Saturday nights at 7. So June 10th is Mean Streets. July 1st, Taxi Driver. July 15th, Raging Bull. July 29th, The King of Comedy. August 12th, The Last Temptation of Christ. August 26th, Goodfellas. September 9th, The Age of Innocence. And September 16th, Casino.
It was hard to just pick 8 films. Marty Scorsese's been making movies for 6 decades now, because he has a new one coming out in October, and it's just mind blowing. His whole catalog of films is really remarkable. So sometimes it's when we do these retrospective series, it can be hard to choose. We're kind of going for the greatest hits, but it's tough, and people will every time, undoubtedly, people will be like, why didn't you show blah? And I say, like, look, I get it. Here's the thing, come see movies. The more that we have people coming out, the more that we can keep doing this. I mean, we'd love to do a part 2, right?
Well, and in Palm Springs, we have people coming out all the time, so that works.
Right?
Right. Now, so it's, tell us about the all access pass and then individual ticket prices.
Yes. So individual ticket prices are just $12. It's just kind of our standard pricing for movies. And then if you want to see all of them, we have an all access pass, and that's $65. And it's just a fun way, if you love these movies, you're going to go see them. And it's a great, it supports the cultural center, and it's a good value if you're going to go see all of the movies, which you should, because they're all very good movies.
Well, and this particular graphic is something that I know you wanted to tell people about.
Oh, yes. Yes. So now for something completely different. This is our Screwball Sundays, is another film series that we're nearing the end of, but I can't announce yet. It looks like we're looking to do a season 2, perhaps in the fall or spring, because this one was a lot of fun. So basically, we have been doing all the great screwball comedies on Sundays as matinees in the historic Camelot Theater. So, started with It Happened One Night. We have done Bringing Up Baby. Last week we had His Girl Friday with Cary Grant and Rosalind Russell. And our grand finale on June 18th is Ball of Fire, which is, it's a lesser known film, but it's one of those movies where it's kind of like, why is this a lesser known film? It's Barbara Stanwyck. And I don't know about you, Nicholas, but I'm obsessed with Barbara Stanwyck. She is just, there's just no comparison. And she plays this like nightclub singer, burlesque dancer. Also stars Gary Cooper, and it's kind of this fun twist on Snow White, where she has to hide out from the law because like her mob boyfriend's in trouble, and she's with this group of eccentric professors, and they're kind of like the Seven Dwarfs. It is so much fun. It's a Howard Hawks film, and Billy Wilder wrote the script. So I mean, it is so much fun. I'm so excited for people who have not experienced this film to see it. And the best part is that we are able to do this on 35 millimeter film, which is pretty rare and exciting for us. And if you haven't really seen movies before on real film, the best way to describe it is it's kind of like the difference of like when you hear something on vinyl. It has like a texture. There's an indefinable quality that is so special. And in the historic Camelot Theater, we have the original projectors from when the theater opened in 1967. The Dr. Zhivago was the first film shown in the theater, and
Wow.
they've been maintained. I mean, we have a 70 millimeter film festival once a year, but we can also do 35. We always do 35 millimeter film during the Film Noir Festival that is in May. And it's so that's going to be a lot of fun. The UCLA Film Archive was very generous to get us this restoration print.
Well, even in the world of streaming, there's still it's still a very special experience. Not only to see a film in a theater on a big screen, but to be in a communal, in a community, to have a community experience of the same thing. I know that one of the things I love to ask filmmakers when I'm interviewing them is, what was, if they've had the experience at the time of the interview, what was it like when you first saw your film with an audience that wasn't an inside audience?
That's a great question.
And what was that like? Now, during the pandemic, unfortunately, so many filmmakers didn't have that experience because all of the screenings at that time were virtual.
Mhm.
But it's very magical when you see when a creator sees their work with a crowd, and it's even as magical to be part of a crowd experiencing it.
That, yeah, speaking of the pandemic, I mean, that was a scary time. I mean, still, truthfully, in terms of new releases, our attendance went way down, and it was scary. I mean, we really were like, are people just not going to go to movies anymore? I mean, I can't imagine that. Interestingly enough, the revival film, these classic films, have really done well, and thank goodness. I mean, because that's, I think people should realize that that is a cultural experience that is kind of endangered, right? I mean, if independent theaters are really the ones that are, doing this kind of programming, and we saw. I was very sad to see the Tri-Stone close. I went to that theater when it was the Palme d'Or. I grew up there, and it's hard. It's a hard business. The movie business in general is difficult, but especially for independent theaters. And to be able to revisit these films as they're meant to be seen, and to keep them alive, and to inspire the next generation of filmmakers, we have to show them. And so, again, if you love movies, and if it's been a while since maybe you've seen a classic movie on the big screen, we're gonna have so much this summer. It's almost, Nicholas, is kind of ridiculous. We still are like rolling things out. So I encourage everyone to check out our calendar, look at our website, come see a movie.
You know what movie I would definitely go see on the big screen at the Camelot?
Hmm.
Fame
Ooh,
from 1980.
yes.
From 1980.
Yeah,
Just
we can
because
go.
it had such a huge influence on my life. Not on the superficial reason, oh, he always wanted to be famous. No, not that at all. It's just the artistic journey, being the artistic misfit, finding a way of fitting in through the arts, looking to make that a way of life. There's so many movies that are about just that, but the opportunity to revisit your past is brilliant.
It's interesting too when you come to a film like that and see it with different eyes when it's revisited at different times in your life. But that's good. It's been a couple of years. I know we have shown Fame, but it's been a while, so I will put that on the list. And I want people to know that we want to hear from everyone, and what they want to see. So it's just, we just have the contact form on our website. I'm just Lauren at psculturalcenter.org, or info@psculturalcenter.org. But please let us know what you want to see on the big screen. This is for everybody.
Okay, so I have a confession to make. Thankfully, right before the pandemic, in my apartment, I live in the affordable housing at DAP Health,
Mhm.
and it didn't know the pandemic was happening, but I had put in place a home movie theater with a 65-inch 4K HD TV,
Ooh.
Sonos surround sound speakers, and a reclining leather sofa,
Oh, yes, that sounds amazing.
all encased under a California king size loft bed.
Ooh,
So you really are in this movie cocoon,
I love it.
and it is as nice of a movie watching experience that is available anywhere. The only thing I
Mhm.
don't have is the ability to watch it with a lot of other people,
Mhm.
and the ability to watch it with people in general. So it's always nice to communicate with that. But then the pandemic happened, and I just had a really challenging time putting back in place my social connections, and the people that I would go out and do things with, like go to the movies.
Right.
So I haven't gone to a lot of movies for that reason, and with the new releases, it doesn't really necessarily make sense to go to a theater to see them if you have this type of movie going experience at home. But with these classic films that you're talking about, what a great opportunity to see them again as they were made to be seen.
Absolutely. That sounds amazing. I mean, there's no real bad way to watch a film, and the movie Cocoon sounds delightful. I'm coming over.
Yes, there's room for two other people. Three if you're really close.
I love
All right, so open-ended question. Is there anything else you would like to say about the Cultural Center and your upcoming programming in the next couple of months?
Yes. So, oh my gosh. So we have so much good stuff coming. You just had Anika Brown on a couple days ago with the Juneteenth celebration happening this Sunday. We're celebrating early at the Cultural Center with Anika and Keisha D. So we're very excited for that. And then again, we're doing so many classic movies. I just announced our Summer Heat series today, which is actually with a guest programmer, Deserted Films. They're a local nonprofit that they preserve. They have a film archive of like home movies and video ephemera, but they're also, like it's a husband and wife, Devin and Melissa. Devin is a film studies professor, and he put together this amazing program of movies where like the heat kind of is its own character. So Rear Window on July 2nd, followed by Streetcar Named Desire, The 7-Year Itch, Do the Right Thing, Chinatown. Again,
I was waiting for Body Heat to be on that list.
Ooh, that's a good one. Maybe next. Yeah, I mean, it's once you start thinking about it, you can go through the list. So maybe I'll get him to do a part 2 next year. But that's starting in July. Also kicking off in July, we are doing 2 really great series with amazing musicals. So we have our summer sing-along program is back, and that's going to be classic musicals, the kind of the great MGM stuff. And that's Sundays at 3 p.m., which is such a good time slot for that because, go to brunch, have mimosas, come to the Camelot.
Right, I just have to stop you. Anytime I think about these sing-along musicals, I feel like the audience is in an "I'm a bigger queen than you are" contest. I can sing. I know more of the lyrics and can sing them louder.
Right.
I say that with love.
Kiss me, Kate.
I say that with love.
That's funny. Well, then, yeah, let's all come throw down.
Right, exactly.
The sing-along series. And then we have our Broadway. So it's like Broadway to the screen and back again. I mean, there's so many amazing films that came from Broadway shows, and some of them then were like made back into, made to a film and then back to Broadway. Like we have the 2005 Producers with Matthew Broderick and Nathan Lane, which is such a fun movie. That kicks off with Grease on July 2nd as well. So, it's, again, I mean, you come watch Grease, stay, and then watch Rear Window. It's just shut up, just come watch movies. But that series is terrific. So we're doing, Hair, Moulin Rouge, just a lot of really fun stuff. So again, I mean, just, there's too much to list. Go to our website, follow us on social media, and we'll be having some other surprises as well. We're a little more restricted in our programming during the summer months, just because it's summertime. But that said, we might have a little Keisha D for you. We might have some fun stuff with Leanna and Miguel. So just stay tuned. It's gonna be a great summer.
We really need to talk about the bar and the food.
Mm-hmm. Well, we're probably. I don't know if we do though, because I think we are going to be restricted in our hours a little bit.
Okay. Well, at times the Camelot has amazing alcohol and food offerings that you can partake of before a film. So summer might be different, but generally.
Well, what's always. Speaking of the bar and summer or no summer, we're famous for the Camelot pour, right? So the bar. So we always have a full bar available in concessions.
Okay, so that's all. The bar is still on. Well, I'm 20. I'm 22 years sober, but there's all sorts of mocktails as well.
Absolutely.
And Diet Coke, which is my go-to.
And real butter on the popcorn.
Yes, you gotta love that. Gotta love that. Well, I mentioned at the top of the show that you were a hometown girl, and then I speculated to myself, is it all right to call you a girl?
Sure.
Because, in this day and age, some people just don't appreciate the term. But I think I heard you identify yourself as that on a K-Gay interview. But what is it like to still be here in the Coachella Valley and to be part of arts and culture?
It's amazing. This valley has really, I mean, we've all seen it really explode, but Palm Springs in particular. Now, so I grew up in Cathedral City. I've lived in Palm Springs since I was about 18 years old. And, I've always loved Palm Springs. I mean, I love the whole valley, but I mean, Palm Springs is so special with the Indian canyons and the architecture, and there's just, I don't know, there's just a magic here, and we really have, like, people have really discovered that in a big way, in like the last 10 years or so, especially. It's just every year it gets bigger and bigger, and that's really special. It's cool. It's something to be very proud of. I love our city.
Well, you personally also are a huge ally of the LGBTQ community. I know from your story that you came to love the community through your experiences with the GSA in school.
Mhm.
Am I remembering this correctly?
Yes, that's right.
And I want to thank you because you were the co-chair of the Drag for Drag rally, which I televised live. And I actually just put out an encore presentation of the entire Drag for Drag rally on all media platforms. It previously just existed on Facebook, and it's getting, more and more views. But you are one of the reasons that happened, and that event is one of the reasons that makes Palm Springs special, along with, of course, the great work of the Palm Springs Cultural Center.
Yeah, our gay community is a huge part of what makes Palm Springs special, and I have been really grateful to be part of that community and to have been embraced, for as long as I can remember. In high school, we started one of the very first gay straight alliances in the entire Coachella Valley, and we were very active in the Gay Associated Youth nonprofit that had a drop-in center and would do gay proms. This is like 2003, 2002. I'm dating myself, but yeah, it's special, and thank you. It was such an honor to be able to work with this amazing crew of people: Christopher Durbin and John Taylor and David Reese and Jeff Banks. I mean, it was a real team effort to put on that event. And thank you for your coverage and all of your support for Drag for Drag.
Oh, it's my pleasure. They don't call me the promo homo for nothing.
Mm.
And I'm grateful you came on the show. Give my love to Tim and Michael and everyone at the Cultural Center, and I look forward to promoting you more. And is there anything else you want to conclude with?
Oh gosh. I just want to say, don't forget that we are also the main venue for the Palm Springs International Film Fest, which has Short Fest coming up, June 20th through 26th. That is so much fun. And yeah, and again, just come out and see movies and give us some money with that matching grant.
Yes, yes, and I'll put the website up again. psculturalcenter.org is the place
Oh,
to go.
I have one last thing
Yes,
I do need
please.
to mention. We do so many things that it's like, you know, of course, for those who may not be familiar, the Palm Springs Cultural Center also operates the Palm Springs Certified Farmers Market. And we are opening up indoors this Saturday. We do our annual transition to the Palm Springs Pavilion. I know, we've been doing it for years, but there's always folks that are new to town. So, thanks to the support of the city of Palm Springs, the Spa Resort Casino, and Porsche Palm Springs, we are able to run the farmers market even in the off season and do it indoors where it's air conditioned. So that's the 401 South Pavilion Way, and every Saturday, 8 a.m. to 1 p.m.
Um, and it's great. And I just want to say to the viewers that the Palm Springs Pavilion may seem like it's in the middle of nowhere and you don't know how to get there, but it's very simple. So if you're on Sunrise and you go to Baristo and then you start going east, on your way to the Palm Springs Cultural Center, you'll come to a stop sign. That is Pavilion Way. And you turn right at that stop sign and you're going along the baseball field. And at the end of that baseball field, on the right is parking, and then you're almost at the pavilion in that location.
That's right. It's right next to the swim center and just east of the library. And we
Um, the,
also accept EBT. So I always like to put that out there because it's
Oh,
not,
that's great. The
yeah, most of the
farmers market
farmers.
accepts EBT.
Mhm.
Lance Druckerman, who's one of my PromoHomo.TV superstars, which means that he and his husband donate money to this show. He says thank you for all the information going on at the Camelot Theater. And Elk Whistle, aka Aaron Terry, who is also one of the PromoHomo.TV superstars, says, awesome, great information. So, Lauren, you are awesome, and thanks again for being on the show. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited. Summer's here. It's like already. I kind of, I know it's hot, but I kind of like summer. It's like I still kind of feel like a kid, like school's out. Like,
Well,
yeah,
just to remind my viewers, my last name is Snow. So in summer or winter, I like to say over 6 feet of snow has hit Palm Springs.
I love that. That's a great line.
Yes, I use it all the time. Hang tight, Lauren, because we can compliment each other after the show. And I will say goodbye to you, though, on air right now.
Thank you so much, Nicholas. And thank you, everyone. I look forward to seeing you this summer.
And everyone watching, thank you. And I'll see you tomorrow because I'm live every day at 5, almost every day. I'm broadcasting at 5 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time in Pride Month. So I'll see you soon.
In a safe place, I got room to breathe. Been a long chase, but at last I'm free. These open woods, I knew I could find peace here. Nothing like the city where I got tired of the running, the catching up. I got hungry for the stunning high mountain tops. So I made some plans, some dreams to catch, to promised lands, to find my path, see the planet from greater heights. I have found a place out of time and space, far from city lights, up on greater heights. See the blue sky, feel the wind that blows. Get the rush in, heaven only knows. I'm all alone, still lying far from lonely. On a journey, on a winding road. Got tired of the running, the catching up. I got hungry for the sunny high mountain top.